Welcome to this YouTube channel. In this video we are going to talk about most satisfying inventions in the world. So before starting this video, like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future updates. Humans have come up with some incredible and occasionally bizarre creations. Several important achievements stand out as particularly revolutionary. From the instant someone bashed a rock on the ground to form the first sharp-edged tool, through the introduction of the wheel, to the invention of Mars rovers and the internet. Here are our top recommendations for the most significant innovations of all time, as well as the science behind them and how they came to be. Number 10. The wheel. Around 500 BC, wheels were invented, and they quickly swept over the Eastern Hemisphere. Humans were severely limited in how much and how far they could transport goods over land before the creation of the wheel in 3500 BC. The most difficult part of creating the wheel wasn't the wheel itself. Things got complicated when it came to connecting a non-moving platform to the rolling cylinder. According to David Anthony, an anthropology professor at Hartwick College, the wheel and axle design was a stroke of brilliance. Anthony previously told Live Science. Creating the wheel, he explained that the holes in the middle of the wheels and at the ends of the fixed axles, for example, had to be nearly flawless, round and smooth. Number 9. The nail. This important invention dates back over 2,000 years to the ancient Roman period, and it was only conceivable when humanity learned to cast and shape metal. Previously, wood buildings had to be constructed by geometrically joining adjacent boards, which was a far more time-consuming procedure. According to the University of Vermont, hand-wrought nails were the standard until the 1790s and early 1800s, with a blacksmith heating a square iron rod and then striking it on four sides to make a point. Between the 1790s and the early 1800s, nail-making machines became available. According to the University of Vermont, once Henry Bessemer found a way to mass-produce steel from iron, the iron nails of the past gradually faded, and by 1886, 10% of U.S. nails were made from soft steel wire. Steel wire accounted for 90% of nails produced in the United States by 1913. Number 8. The compass. The stars were utilized by ancient seafarers for navigation, but this approach did not operate during the day or on overcast nights, making journey far from land risky. The first compass was created in China between the 2nd and 1st century AD. Under the Han Dynasty, it was made of lodestone, a naturally magnetic iron, or whose appealing qualities had been studied for years. However, it was initially employed for navigation during the Song Dynasty, between the 11th and 12th centuries, and it was quickly exported to the West via naval connections. Number 7. The printing press. Between 1440 and 1450, German inventor Johannes Gutenberg invented the printing press. The hand mold, a revolutionary molding process that allowed for the quick manufacture of vast amounts of metal movable type, was crucial to its development, though others had produced movable type made of metal before him, notably inventors in China and Korea. Gutenberg was the first to devise a mechanized technique for transferring the ink, which he made from linseed oil and soot, from the movable type to paper. Number 6. The internal combustion engine. Internal combustion engine with 4 strokes. 1. Air and vaporized gasoline are brought in during the intake stroke. 2. The fuel vapor and air are compressed and ignited during the compression stroke. 3. The power stroke occurs when the gasoline ignites and the piston is pushed downward. 4. Exhaust stroke acts in these engines. Fuel combustion produces a high-temperature gas, which expands and exerts a force on a piston, causing it to move. Combustion engines transfer chemical energy into mechanical work in this manner. The internal combustion engine, which took on its, basically, contemporary shape in the second part of the 19th century, was the result of decades of engineering by many scientists. The engine ushered in the industrial age and paved the way for the development of a wide range of devices, including contemporary automobiles and aeroplanes. Number 5. The telephone. The patent sketch for Alexander Graham Bell's telephone, dated 1876. The telephone, invented by Alexander Graham Bell, was the first machine to convey human voice. Several inventors pioneered electrical voice transmission, with many of them eventually filing intellectual property cases as telephone use grew. But on March 7, 1876, Scottish inventor Alexander Graham Bell was the first to be issued a patent for the electric telephone. His patent drawing is pictured above. According to historian A. Edward Evanson's book, The Telephone Patent Conspiracy of 1876, The Elisha Gray Alexander Bell Controversy, and Its Many Players. Bell made the first telephone call to his assistant, Thomas Watson, 3 days later, saying The Telephone Patent Conspiracy of 1876, The Elisha Gray Alexander Bell Controversy, and Its Many Players. McFarland, 2015. His family impacted Bell's decision to invent the telephone. Number 4. The Lightbulb. An original Edison light bulb from Thomas Edison's shop in Menlo Park, California, dating from 1879. The light bulb revolutionized our environment by reducing our reliance on natural light and allowing us to work at any time of day or night. Several inventors contributed to the development of this revolutionary technology in the 1800s. Thomas Edison is credited as the primary inventor because, in 1879, he created a fully functional lighting system, which included a generator, wiring, and a carbon filament bulb similar to the one shown above. This technology not only ushered in the introduction of electricity into houses throughout the Western world, but it also had the unintended consequence of altering people's sleeping patterns. We now stay awake except for the 7 to 8 hours permitted for sleep, and ideally, we sleep all at once, rather than going to bed at nightfall, having nothing else to do, and sleeping in parts throughout the night interrupted by periods of waking. Number 3. Penicillin. It's one of history's most well-known discovery stories. Alexander Fleming, a Scottish chemist, discovered a bacteria-filled petri dish with its lid accidentally ajar in his laboratory in 1928. The sample had become contaminated with mold, and the bacteria had died everywhere the mold was found. That antibiotic mold turned out to be the fungus Penicillium, and researchers refined it and developed the medication penicillin during the next 2 decades, which tackles a wide range of bacterial diseases in humans without damaging them. By 1944, penicillin had been mass-produced and commercialized. This poster, which was posted on a curbside mailbox, instructed World War II veterans to use the medicine to cure venereal disease. According to a study published in 2003 in the journal Clinical Reviews in Allergy and Immunology, about 1 out of every 10 persons has an allergic reaction to the antibiotic. Nevertheless, the majority of those people are able to take the medicine, according to the researchers. Number 2. Contraceptives. Birth control pills, condoms, and other forms of contraception have not only sparked a sexual revolution in the developed world by allowing men and women to have sex for pleasure rather than procreation, but they have also significantly reduced the average number of children per woman in countries where they are used. Modern families have greater living standards and can offer better for each child because they have fewer mouths to feed. Meanwhile, contraceptives are assisting in the gradual stabilization of the human population on a worldwide scale. Our population will most likely stabilize by the end of the century. Condoms, for example, help to prevent the transmission of sexually transmitted illnesses. Number 1. Internet. Based on data from opti.org on January 15, 2005, this is a partial map of the Internet. Each line represents 2 IP addresses and is drawn between 2 nodes. The length of the lines indicates how long it takes for the 2 nodes to communicate. The Internet is a global network of interconnected computer networks utilized by billions of people all over the world. In the 1960s, a group of computer scientists working for the U.S. Defense Department's ARPA, Advanced Research Projects Agency, created ARPANET, the predecessor of the Internet, to connect the agency's computers. It used a data transmission technology called packet switching, which was invented by Lawrence Roberts, a computer scientist and team member, based on previous work by other computer scientists. According to computer scientist Harry R. Kahn, this technology was advanced in the 1970s by scientists Robert Kahn and Vinton Cerf, who invented the fundamental Internet communication protocols, the Transmission Control Protocol, TCP, and the Internet Protocol, IP. What do you think about this video? Do let us know down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.